So F1 heads to Singapore for the 18th round of the 2025 F1 season, and before the weekend began, it was announced that Alex is done. Get it? I'll never do that ever again. Roman Grosjean even tested an F1 car at Mugello. Nice to see, James Hinchcliffe was testing one too. It was forecasted to rain for the entire weekend, it was even raining very heavily on media day. But when we actually got to an F1 session, it was bone dry. Ha! FP1 was an impeding festival. I guarantee you everyone got impeded at least once in this session. And Alex Albon's car decided to implode on itself. In FP2, Charles Leclerc shows who he's supporting in this title fight. George Russell thought it was 2023 all over again. And not long after, Liam Lawson would scrape the wall on the exit of turn 17. And his troubles will continue into FP3. In Q1, Pierre Gasly locks up into turn 11. This ruins Gabriel Bortoleto and Esteban Ocon's chances of getting into Q2 as they had to lift for yellow flags. Charles Leclerc looked like he was going to miss Q3 after a scrappy Sector 1, but he was able to clutch up in the final and middle sectors, and he gets up into P6. Although, I kinda didn't want that to happen even though I'm a Ferrari fan, since Nico Hülkenberg would have made it to his first Q3 of the season. Yuki Tsunoda. It was looking really good for a second in Baku, and then, yeah. Disappointing. In Q3, George Russell put up one of the best laps of the season to put his Mercedes in front. And in the second round of Q3, literally nobody was able to match that lap time. Apart from George Russell himself, he beats his time by 7 milliseconds. And Max Verstappen got impeded by Lando Norris. That was not impeding. Norris wasn't anywhere near Verstappen. He just got unlucky with the wake. And he quite literally made a mistake when Lando Norris was 5 years ahead of him. So, to those saying this is Lando's fault, come on. The top 3 was interviewed all at once after qualifying. I didn't understand why, but I guess they're trying something out.
That was Singapore 2018 from Russell. What was that? I didn't expect that from Russell, man. That was crazy. Anyways.
But what happened in F1 Academy?
Yeah, Nobels and Leah Block. Both front rows getting off reasonably well. Leah Block from pole position, but actually is a better start from Aurelian Nobles, who's going to go down the inside. Nobels trying to take that lead off, but Leah Block goes very wide. We've got a whole bunch of them, and a Lloyd going off there as well. Leah Block, who started on pole position in the reverse grid. Leah Block takes victory in the first race of the weekend for F1 Academy at Singapore. Second place goes to Maya Bird. Third to Chloe Chambers.
Mate, you're really a Formula winner! Oh my god! Thank you!
What a drive, what a defensive masterclass from her. That was, it's not even because she's my favorite F1 Academy, that was a really good drive. It was literally just Zandvoort. She was holding off Maya Vug and Zandvoort. She's holding off Maya Vug again in Singapore. And the least said about race 2, the better. Her best result of last season came in the race I attended. Her best result this season is in the same race I attended too. So, I'm just saying, I'm her unicorn, her Carlos Sainz unicorn. This is really why Williams should invite me to Las Vegas, so she can get pole position and win the feature race and not just a sprint race. Oh yeah, if you're wondering, yes, I did meet her. And my first thoughts were, oh my gosh, she looks 10 times prettier in person than in the pictures. And I am also on her Instagram now, so hey, there you go. There was a Q&A, I wasn't able to ask her a question. If I had to ask, it would be something like, oh, you do rally, it's gonna rain this week, can rally translate to wet weather? I thought that was a good question. And oh yeah, drivers and pundits I met, and principals, because I attended this race, as you can probably tell by now. So who did I meet? It's quite a lot, actually. Okay, scrap that. There is so much to go through. Just go to my Instagram, look at my highlights, you can see who I met in order. But I'll just go through the ones that mattered to me a lot. George Russell, eventual race winner and pole sitter. Kimi Antonelli, Lance Stroll. James Vowles and Carlos Sainz signed my Williams hat. And yeah, that means my Williams hat is signed by everyone at Williams apart from Martin and Browning. And I've been asking Williams for paddock passes the whole year, and I didn't even need a paddock pass to get all their signatures, so that's not bad. But I don't mind being invited to Las Vegas, by the way. Graham Loden, next year's Cadillac principal. I asked James Hinchcliffe a question.
James, how was the Haas car?
It was great, man. It was a lot of fun.
Stefano Domenicali, I probably should have done every F1 YouTuber a favor and asked him to stop taking down our videos. The 3 drivers I really wanted to meet were Leo Block, Bortoleto, and Hamilton. And you know I met Leo Block already. I did meet Bortoleto. And I'm so disappointed I didn't meet Lewis. Not because I didn't meet Lewis, but I got close to him on Friday. I was too far behind in the crowd. And on Saturday, I lost the thing I wanted him to sign. But hey, at least I got close to him and I saw him on the catch fences, so that's fine. Anyways, oh yeah, right, I saw Ayao Kamatsu and Laura Muller at City Hall MRT out of all places. But I didn't walk up to them because they look busy. Anyways, be sure to subscribe. We're trying to reach 11,000, and now let's head on to the race. I think a lot of people are blowing how boring this race was out of proportion. Yeah, don't get me wrong, it wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. There's been a lot worse this season, by the way. A lot worse. The worst part of this race wasn't even the racing on track. It was the TV direction. I don't care about Lando Norris's girlfriend. I don't care about Lance Stroll's sister. I want to see what's going on track. Half the time, they look very uncomfortable as well. What was this crowd shot for? This is the most unnecessary crowd shot I have ever seen. Lewis Hamilton had a brake failure in the race. We're gonna get to that later, but Lewis Hamilton had a brake failure. He was losing 12 seconds per lap, and we didn't even see any of that on the TV. Sure, Max defending Lando was a really good watch, but there's something else happening on track that's a lot more entertaining than that. It was actually raining during the driver's parade, which gave us hope for a wet affected race. It was inters in the reconnaissance laps, but then when we actually hit the track, it was bone dry and slick conditions again. Anyways, the start. Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc got really good starts. Oliver Behrman gets too aggressive with his line and nearly gets sent into a spin by Isaac Hadjar. And obviously, we all know at turn 3, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri's collision. Now, in my opinion, this is definitely not clean, but it also does not constitute a penalty. 5 seconds for this would be ridiculous. It's at least a black and white flag, and there was no further investigation. Tsunoda had a pretty bad start, didn't he? Dropped from P15 to P16, then Esteban Ocon dive-bombed him. What a move from Ocon. For at least the first quarter of the race, Piastri was begging McLaren on the radio to ask for a driver swap between him and Norris, which is perfectly fair for him to ask because every time he has a near incident with Lando, the team remind him that's not how we race, which fair enough, I guess. But in this instance, Lando actually hit him, but nothing from the team. It was perfectly fine, I guess. And they also rewarded him with getting an undercut, so that's brilliant. A lot of Australians left early, and Singapore feels more like an Oscar Piastri home race than an Alex Albon home race, because I probably saw more Australians than Singaporeans this week. Now, throughout the year, I've been saying Hannah Schmitz's strategies haven't been the best. I mean, you just remember Spain putting Max on hards with less than 10 laps to spare. But this one was really good. Putting him on the soft tire, which ended up being crucial for him keeping P2 because the left-hand side of the track in this one was really dirty. And also nearly getting a successful undercut done on George Russell, who was 9 seconds ahead. Yeah, great strategy from Hannah Schmitz. She deserves her flowers for this weekend. I was confused at boxing Yuki very early at first, but ended up having a decent recovery drive, finishing in P12, so I guess that was the right strategy, and this was a very scary moment in the pits. Lando has been the victim of many slow stops this year, so that's why McLaren are implementing Papaya Rules so that Piastri gets the slow stops this time. 5.2 seconds, insane. I thought Piastri was going to lose his place to Leclerc for a bit, but I guess the 28-second pit stop delta is now inaccurate. But in fairness to Lando, he is finally getting his elbows out. This is the aggressiveness we wanted to see from him all season long, and he's finally bringing it into place. And Piastri is looking a bit rattled recently, especially after Baku. So the end of the season is gonna be insane. I can't wait for Abu Dhabi. And again, Max Verstappen still isn't completely out of the picture. It ain't over till it's over. Fernando Alonso. What a drive from him today. And also for Oliver Behrman. A lot of drivers struggle in their first time out in Singapore, but that wasn't the case for Behrman. The rookies were struggling today, weren't they? Bortoleto wasn't that impressive. Isaac Hadjar has been impressive the whole season. This was a really bad race for him. Why on earth did he give his position to Sainz? Even with DRS, it's impossible to overtake. Oliver Behrman in that Haas. Brilliant drive. That is probably his best drive of the season, and I think has been super underrated by the F1 community a bit because he was seen as a bit overrated coming into the year, but as the season progressed, he definitely deserves a spot at Haas. Anyone who tries to deny his talent, y'all are just hating. What a dive from Behrman as well on Alex Albon. Good stuff. So yeah, Behrman and Alonso, really great stuff from them today. And I posted this on my Instagram story during the driver's parade. And guess what happens? Carlos Sainz does go from last to the point. So come on, Williams. In my Williams mini documentary, I mentioned that y'all are gonna get a podium in either Monza or Baku. You get it in Baku. I said that Leo Block's first F1 win will come in Singapore. Singapore will be their best race because I'm attending the Singapore Grand Prix, so yeah. And Leo Block will also get her best finish in Singapore. She'll win the Singapore Grand Prix. She got her best finish in Singapore last year. It came in Singapore. I can see the future. Oh my gosh. This is why I should go to Las Vegas or Abu Dhabi. Make that happen. Great strategy to put on the softs towards the end. And oh yeah, they didn't show any of his overtakes on TV. So again, well done TV directors. And I hate you, Nico Hülkenberg. Yet again, another Singapore Grand Prix without a safety car. And it's all your fault. The traffic in this race was absolutely insane. And it's a lot to do with the fact that race pace was on average 8 to 10 seconds slower than it was in qualifying. Then you get whatever on earth this was. It was exactly like what we saw in Monaco thinking about it. Or Singapore 2018. This race was just Singapore 2018 2.0 thinking about it again. And I guess shout out Yuki Tsunoda for helping Max Verstappen out. It still doesn't change the fact that it's embarrassing he got lapped in the first place. Ferrari. I thought our season was gonna get better after the summer break. Lewis Hamilton now looks pretty comfortable driving that Ferrari and is starting to match Charles Leclerc on some occasions. But the issue is, they can't build a car that's fast, and they also can't build a car that can last an entire race distance. Charles Leclerc was lifting and coasting from lap 7 onwards to prevent his brakes from exploding. Lewis Hamilton was having a really good stint on the softs to the point where he got past Charles Leclerc, granted with team orders, but the minute he gets behind the dirtier of Kimi Antonelli, his brakes explode and he starts losing 12 seconds per lap. This was probably Lewis's strongest weekend with Ferrari, apart from Silverstone, and an opportunity to finish on the podium was there, but they blew it so hard. Shout out Inaki Rueda, I want you back. Same with Mattia Binotto. Even though I'm praising Lewis and complaining how bad Ferrari are, this was still atrocious from Lewis, cutting a corner every 5 corners just so he can stay ahead of Fernando Alonso. A, that's extremely dangerous, especially in a street circuit like Singapore, and B, it's also illegal. Honestly, I don't know how he got away with just a 5-second penalty. If I'm the FIA, I'm giving him I'm black flagging him and fining Ferrari $300,000. That's a bare minimum you should do for something like this. Anyways, after a very boring first 36 laps and a pretty interesting final 26, George Russell crosses the line to win the Singapore Grand Prix, redemption for 2023, and McLaren secure the 2025 Constructors' Championship. Yeah, great race from Russell, perfect execution, reminded me a lot of Hamilton in 2018. Come on Mercedes, just renew his contract already. In my opinion, he's easily been the second best driver this season behind Max Verstappen. And the fact that he's still not contracted for the following season is crazy to me. He needs, at minimum, a 3-year contract. If he gets into a title fight with Max Verstappen, he will definitely put in a really good challenge against Max. So since the race was over, I made my way over to the podium to watch the champagne and national anthem obviously, and also McLaren celebrating the constructors. Oh wait, where's Oscar Piastri?
A point for the team after a difficult day yesterday, so very happy.
I know it's a duty of a driver who's finished outside the podium to be in the media pen immediately after the race, but it's still a bad look for McLaren, especially considering that he's the one leading the Drivers' Championship. Why wasn't he here? At least wait for him to finish. Man, I'm pissed off with McLaren this week. It's fine. We reset for Austin. Piastri's villain arc is incoming.
I mean, first 40 laps were very boring, but last 20 were really good. I like Norris chasing Max. That was a good ending, and the midfield was crazy too. But yeah, decent race. Hamilton was good. I thought Alonso was good. Behrman was good. Yeah. Good stuff. But shout out Ferrari brakes. Probably shouldn't have worn this shirt. Every time we wear a Ferrari shirt, we get cursed. But that was a good race. That was a good weekend. I'll see you next time.